Sure. My name is Ernest. I'm from Malaysia, and my major is sport business management with a minor in marketing. I am a junior, so expected graduation would be May of 2022.
Nice. And tell me a little bit about your kind of like cultural background, family life, kind of what it was like growing up.
Sure. I'll just start with the country Malaysia. So Malaysia is basically, I would say, a melting pot of all cultures in a good way. We have uh, like many different ethnic groups. Malaysia, we have the Chinese, Malays, Indians, uh, and other ethnic groups that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, growing up in Malaysia, I would say your cultural understanding of other ethnic groups would be a little higher than compared to most kids from other countries, just because you have a lot of exposure to a lot of different types of ethnic groups. And yeah, family life for me, despite being Malaysian, we're still like a typical Chinese family, with respect and honor. But since we are heavily influenced by the West, like here, so we have a lot of different types of things that we do that a normal Chinese family wouldn't do. But otherwise, family life was awesome. Other than that, we really enjoy the food in Malaysia. So pretty much the culture back in Malaysia, uh, for anyone from there, no matter their ethnic group, will be the food, just because food is a
Yeah,
big cultural statement back home. Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
So, what was worship like in your culture back home as compared to kind of more Western slash Cedarville style worship? Was it
Mhm.
different in that sense growing up?
Growing up, I was part of a Methodist and a Baptist church
Okay.
growing up. So Methodist, the usual hymns singing. But when I moved over to a Baptist church, I began to be more exposed with um, more contemporary Christian music. And then, yeah, with the internet, Planet Shakers, Elevation Worship,
Hmm.
all that just came back. So I would say growing up, it would be more hymnal type of more conservative worship. And
Okay.
then when I was more like as I grew up, then definitely more contemporary. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, like, what other kinds of music do you listen to now then? Like, what's your kind of taste in music overall?
Um, I don't really have a specific taste, but ever since coming here, I kind of like country music.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird because back home, if you would listen to country music, it would definitely be an old person's kind of taste.
Gotcha.
But hey, over here, everyone listens
Yeah,
to
no,
country music.
country's just
Yeah,
normal. It's like
yeah,
folk music around
yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so country music, like contemporary worship music, I'll mention, and then I also start to appreciate hymns a lot because
Mhm.
some of the meanings they really do speak to me, especially. So, yeah,
Yeah,
these three things are the main ones right now.
gotcha. Cool. And so, what were some of the like difficulties you had when kind of adjusting and transitioning to Cedarville, like
Mhm.
specifically?
Well, because coming to Cedarville, this was actually not my first time coming here. So the first
Mhm.
time I came, but I'll just speak from my experience the first time. Uh, it was back in 2017. I came here for a speech conference.
Okay.
So I think one thing that I noticed was that ever since coming here, I think people are more upfront and direct on what they
Mm,
want. So, I mean, of course, there's like personal space, but they're more direct and they'll tell you straight to the face, no matter whether they know you or not. And this is really different from, I would just say Asian or just Middle Eastern culture, I guess, where you would actually like beat around the bush and not be direct.
mhm.
So that was one of the things that I discovered. And secondly, like I briefly mentioned, personal space. Like in Asian cultures, or like just we would be a little close, like if we would know you, and we would be like really close proximity, not that much personal space. So ever since coming here for the first time, I actually discovered what was actually personal space.
Yeah.
um, and then just the food. The food's different. And even right now, I would say, not to say that I don't like burgers, pizzas, and like stuff like that, but definitely a transition from eating rice every single
Yeah.
meal back home. Yeah.
So, what's been one of your favorite parts about your experience at Cedarville?
Well, for Cedarville, I think the community is really good. I live in Lawler, so Lawler
Hmm.
for life.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
and like it's not just Lawler. I can feel the same amount of like intentionality of building a community and just making new friends and hanging out. It's just something that you can't feel elsewhere. And also the emphasis on the Word of God, which is really important for my Christian faith at least. Because back home, prior to coming here, I was also attending an affiliated Christian college, which had
Mm.
nothing like that felt like that felt nothing like Cedarville. So I think
Gotcha.
coming to Cedarville, that's one of the two of the biggest things that I really treasure the most.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree.
Mhm.
Living in Lawler for me and community wise, it's been impacted me just as much as the school itself.
Yeah.
So, how did you hear about Cedarville and why did you choose to come here? Like, what was that decision process
hmm
like for you?
hmm yeah. I'll just start with how I heard about CRO. So, as I mentioned back in 2017, I came here for a speech conference. So, a few of the student leaders actually studied at Cedarville. So that was my first
Okay.
exposure to Cedarville. They have graduated already. They were seniors. So yeah, so ever since then they were talking about Cedarville, how great of a school it is. And then at that time, I think I was taking a gap year after graduating high school. So I went back and then I started taking my SATs and then prepared to come to the US actually. I think the reason why I chose Cedarville is because comparing to other Christian universities, I think Cedarville really suited for me based on the community wise. And my mom actually came to visit before me, so she, yeah, she was just really helpful, just helping me find out stuff. And then me and myself on the other side of the world, also trying to find out about Cedarville. And then and then based on the majors as well, because I was deciding between Messiah College and Cedarville. Based on the majors, and then I just discovered that Cedarville would be a great fit. And ever since coming here, I've not regretted the decision. Yeah.
Hmm. So, what are some parts about your culture that you miss kind of being at Cedarville? I know you kind of mentioned the food definitely is one. What
Mm-hmm.
are some other parts about like your culture back home that you kind of miss about all at Cedarville?
Mm, well, I think okay. I'm not really sure. I don't really miss anything, but I think in terms of being different and like I kind of reminisce, I guess it would be like the clusters of people that we hang out with, or maybe just because I don't hang out with other people other than the like Lawler or like friends from
Hmm.
class. But I think back home we would be a lot. We would be hanging out in like big groups, like group activities, like more bigger group activities, which is also like again like the culture. So,
Hmm.
but I don't really miss anything. I just find that it's just another stage in life where you're in another culture, and then yeah,
Right.
you adapt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess COVID doesn't help with
Yeah,
that either
yeah,
since we can't be
exactly,
in large groups
exactly,
anyways, but
exactly.